your 30s now. At what point in time are you going to stop playing around? And don't get me wrong, I get the pushback of, well, a man doesn't reach his earning potential until he's in his 50s. So I got time. and don't and you're right. You're right. And you still in your 30s. It's elevation that happens through life, right? So don't get me wrong, it's ups and downs, right? For sure, it's ups and downs. But with that being said, at the end of the day, you're still in your 30s. In your 30s comes more responsibility. You might have a family to take care of, bills, moved out of your, I don't want to say mom's house, but like, one of your family members' house, whoever it might be, supporting you, that's been supporting you throughout your teenage years, maybe up to your mid-20s, up to your late 20s, early 30s. It's time. It's time to go ahead and turn it up a little bit. In your 30s is a place where, first of all, let me backtrack too. Being in your 30s is one of the best times. And I'm still in my 30s, so I could really speak on it. This is one of the best eras of my whole life. I'm educated now. I got my passport. My children are taken care of. I made sure that my children have a good mother as their role model, including their father, but it's important for children to have their mother around, if possible, grandmother too, anything will work, some type of motherly figure that could give them comfort. My 30s been raw. It's been a hell of a time, And with that being said, I'm still aware that I'm not in my 20s anymore, so I can't move as such. I could still turn up and stay out all night in Vegas. Don't get me wrong. But it's different. It's like, it's me doing that knowing that this party gonna come to an end. You know what I mean? It's not just straight balls to the wall. This'll never end. Let's do this forever. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, I know my flight leaves and I'm damn near checking in. Yeah, it might be 5 a.m. I'm in after hours, but I still got my alarm set to check in for my flight that's leaving 5 a.m. the next day. So it's still more responsibility, is what I'm trying to say. You could still have fun with it. I personally, I've still never been on a cruise. That's something that I want to do. And this video is a real wake-up call to let you know that you in your 30s now. It's time to stop playing. You done gave out free, you done gave out some free sex to whomever. It's time to go ahead and stop that, dog. It's time to stop that. I'm not gonna lie. It's time to be real picky and choosy on who you spend your time with. This ain't college. I don't want to hear you having a roster. I don't want to hear about that no more. Because I damn near don't even want you to have a roster unless it's the rawest roster you ever could imagine. Like, yo, no, I'm gonna tell you gonna damn near stop me. Nah, let me stop you right there, T. I gotta tell you about, my baby in Scotland and my baby in Toronto and my baby in the West Coast, and they all for me. And they all love me. I damn near FaceTime them right now. I know two of them at work right now and the other one's sleeping. I know they schedule. Okay, if it's some raw talk like that, I can't go against that. But if you just telling me little flings and things, it's like, come on, dog. It's that time to go ahead and lock in. And I know we always hear that, right? Like that, hey, lock in. But let me elaborate on what playing around in your 30s look like. still giving random sex to whomever, not having a plan for your life. If you don't have children, I totally understand and I respect your decision. And it may be time for you to start thinking about that. Maybe not. You know, we all age mentally and physically at different points of our life. So your 30s might not be the time for you to have children, and maybe in your 40s. I don't want to rush your greatness. And I'll say, maybe it's time to start thinking about it. Thinking about staying physically fit. Observing your vices and what habits you might have. And seeing which ones are healthy and which ones are not. And I'm not saying that, you see how I said observe. I didn't say necessarily put it down yet. Because the 30s is a time where you finally starting to look in the mirror and deciding who you don't want to become. You know what? I might not know exactly who I want to be, but I know I don't want to be like my uncle, you know, or whomever it is. Not talking about my uncles. I love my uncles, but I'm saying more like, all right, I know I don't want to be like my cousin so and so. The 30s is a time to keep living, keep smashing on the gas, but also reflecting on where you've been. I want to see you shine. I want that for you. And with that being said, you gotta have a plan for your own life and how to accomplish that. And in your 30s is a time to do so. Might be time to grill down in that gym a little bit more. Make sure you taking your walks and you getting your proper vitamins, or you know you watching your nutrition. It can't be all double-doubles no more like it was in your teens and 20s, you know? You're dinner eating nothing but pizza and double-doubles and still had an 8-pack. And in your 30s, you can still do that, but that time is now coming to an end. You know what I mean? That era, that GOAT era, that legendary era where you stay up 3 nights in a row, that time is now coming to an end. It's shifting. And you're realizing, okay, I am human. You know, I might not be superhuman anymore. I'm human. The 30s, for me, was a real intellectual point. And in my early 30s, I would say I was still kind of, I was definitely up and down with it, you know? But as I hit my mid, it was like, okay, I know who I want to become. I know who I want to be. Or again, but that was me. But I feel like a lot of folks who I'm around, at least you know what you don't want to be. And your 30s is a great time for that. To come to that realization, like, hey, I don't want to be that. And the world is moving so much faster than it was, you know, when I was coming up. So I know some folks watching this, you might be in your 20s and feel like, well, I already know. I know I don't want to be this. I know I don't want to be that. I see what you're saying and I salute that. I know I don't want to be a crackhead. Okay, for sure. All right, I'm glad you got a starting place then. So you know to never smoke crack. You know to never take meth. You know to never take heroin. You know drug dealing, as much as it might be perceived as glamorous, you know that rock bottom is harsh and it's crucial. You know, and it's damn near, you ever heard that saying, the juice isn't worth the squeeze? You might be starting to come to those type of realizations. What was once sexy to you might not be as sexy. This is when a lot of people quit certain things. You wanted to be an artist, you wanted to be a musician, you want to be this, you want to be that, and in your 30s you like, damn, I got a kid, I got a wife, I got I got a dog, I got a home, let me put this music shit down for a minute and really focus on my career as a project manager. You know what I'm saying? The 30s is a time where where a lot of reality hits. Your friends is getting married. You know, you might get some peer pressure to go that way. But you still got to know who you are internally and not let that phase you. But still applaud for them. I'm happy you did that, bro. I'm excited for your journey. Your blessings aren't my blessings. And I know mine are coming. So the 30s is a hell of a time. You know, it's one of the best times for me, at least. My 20s was raw, too. My 20s was raw. But it flashed by. It went by so fast. And my 30s was a time where I got to slow it down just a little bit. I still had a lot of great times and experiences. Amazing experiences. And I'm not going to go list them all off and feel like I'm bragging to the camera. And what I will say to that is you own your 30s because you start to realize who you aren't. Like, you know what? Nah, I'm not that. They say the majority of crime happens in a man's life. He's more likely to commit crime from the ages of teens to their late 20s. And in the 30s or to like 30, you know, mid 30s or something. And then that crime rate drops. Because you start to realize, man, I'm not a gangster, man. You know, or like, what am I doing? You know, what am I? Come on, I was taught better than this. 30s is a hell of a time. It's a time to start realizing your purpose too. What natural skills do you have that come easy to you, that you could just do naturally and they flow and it comes easy to you, that will solve a problem for others? You know, you start to dive deep in your purpose, and you might not find your purpose till you 40, 50. Like, you know, Uncle Kevin Samuel said, you might not hit that epitome of a man, of what a man is, until you're 50. And the 30s is definitely a time in retrospect to reflect on that and start to become what you always wanted to become. 30s is also a place where you miss a lot of your homies that's next to you. You know, a lot of them didn't make it. I was talking to one of my people and he was talking about how he's unfazed, he's unbothered by that because he thinks back about high school and he thinks about sports. And a lot of his homies didn't have the grades. You know, a lot of his homies were doing this, that, and the third and couldn't make it to practice or whatever. So when it's game time, a lot of them weren't able to suit up. And it's nothing to cry about, it's just the reality of it. A lot of them didn't have their uniform right. A lot of them didn't have their household right. And, you know, various reasons. And I thought that was heavy too, because I think back in my past, I'm like, damn, a lot of them didn't make it too. I remember that. So the 30s is a hell of a time if you stay down. But if you start distancing yourself from your friends and the people that care about you and go on this route where you know the world got it in for you and you know, this pessimistic complainer route, and you start to build those tendencies, emotional tendencies, and you're not thinking logic, you still in la la land. It's like, man, good luck, man. Because as quick as those 20s went, those 30s go. And I'm speaking like I'm out my 30s. I'm still in it and I'm still loving it, but I see it though. I see it with my son that's already a teenager now. I'm like, damn, boy. He out there playing freshman football and I'm like, damn, kick returning. You know what I'm saying? Being raw. All of his friends coming over, raiding our fridge and eating pizzas and I'm like, damn, I remember those times. Just like it was yesterday. And it's an honor I get to live through him And for my people that's watching this that don't have children, don't even trip, because you could live through your nieces and nephews. You could live through your little cousins. You could live through your neighbor that you always see and you say what's up to, that's younger than you. And there's so many youth that need to be developed. It doesn't necessarily have to be a father-son thing. Yeah, that's definitely a bar that we all want to reach for sure. And with that being said, again, my blessings isn't your blessings, and your blessings ain't my blessings, and his blessings ain't her blessings, etc. We all got our own route we need to take. Discipline. Discipline is something you learn in your 30s as well. You might not be all the way in it and all the way disciplined, but you learn how important that is because you see it in other people and how they're not, and what's the conclusion of that. You start really seeing it like, damn, okay, if you eat Burger King, drink Starbucks with 12 sugars and creamers, and then after for dinner, you go to, you go out and you eat again. It's like you compound that. Damn, bro, what happened to you, dog? I haven't seen you in a minute. Or you go the other route, you kind of clean it up. Then you get to see the product of that as well. So the 30s is heavy. You're going to love it. If you're in it right now or if you're past it right now, whatever it may be, man, give us some game on it. Give us some game because we're all in it together. You know it takes a village. That's something that I realized that we don't have as good of a grasp on as other countries. It's like, damn, we forget it's still a village. We so independent and we so used to doing things by ourselves that it's like, damn, we still need our elders though to tell us what's what. So if you haven't hit your 30s yet, you will. Set yourself up for success. If you're in them right now, hey, I salute you. Enjoy them. Enjoy them. We're going to enjoy them together. And if you're out of your 30s, I know you're reflecting and thinking about how beautiful they were. It's a hell of a time for sure. It is. And I'm loving it. I'm loving every second of it. I'll see y'all on the next one. Assets Only.